Welcome back. Now, with less than 70 days until the general election in February, all hands are on deck to make the polls a successful one. Now, Nigeria's voter population of over 84 million means the country's electoral umpire, that's the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has a huge task ahead of the election. As the election day gets closer by the day, INEC is worried about attacks on its facilities, especially those that have occurred in the past few months, where the Commission's offices have been razed down by unknown criminals. Now, this has resulted in the loss of important election materials needed for the election. That's barely 2 months away. The Commission has also accused some politicians of inducing voters and buying their permanent voter cards. There's also been concerns about the competence of the bimodal voter accreditation system. Now, that's the BVAS. But in all, the Commission has continued to assure Nigerians that it has everything under control. Let's discuss this further. I'm now being joined on the program by Ayo Aluko, who is the Director of Voter Education for INEC. He joins us from Abuja. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. First off, tell us about these attacks on your facilities that we've seen in recent times. How concerned is INEC about the development?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Actually, INEC is concerned about the issue of attacks on our facilities. Actually, today, the Commission was in the House of Representatives, where a public hearing was conducted on this particular matter. In the past 6 months alone, that is this year, we had attacks in 5 states, 8 different attacks, 8 different incidents in 5 states. We had attacks in Enugu State, in Ebonyi, in Imo, in Osun State, and in Ogun State. And in each location, our offices were attacked. And of course, the worst was the latest one, the one that happened at our state office in Owerri. That's on the 12th of December, just a
few days ago.
So we are worried about it, and we are asking, of course, we are asking the security agencies to stem that tide, to put an end to it, because in every location where our office is attacked, we will have to get resources to be able to put those offices back in shape. We also have to get resources to replace the materials that are destroyed. This is not really a good thing, and we hope the attacks will be stopped by whoever is behind them.
And of course, I know your resources are not unlimited, because that's just the truth. If you're having to spend money now on things that you didn't plan for, then there's a problem, because you might suffer some kind of shortage now before the general election itself. But let's talk about some of the materials that have been destroyed in some of these incidents. How important are these materials, and how quickly are you able to replace them so that, you know, we don't get stories on election day as we had in the past?
Yes, in most in all these places, you find out that it was a form of arson. That is a fire set to our buildings. The police said petrol bombs were thrown into some of these buildings, and the resultant effect was that our materials were burned. In a place like Abeokuta South Local Government Office, we had many PVCs in the store there, and they were all burnt. There are places where we had cubicles, we had ballot boxes that were burnt, and of course, all these things cost money. Money will be spent to replace them. They are not things that are free, and of course, it also takes some time, because they are not things that you just get off the shelf. For PVCs, we can print them quickly, but other things like ballot boxes, like cubicles, it takes some little time. But the good thing is that as a commission, we are committed to conducting the 2023 general election. And so we'll do our best to make sure we replace all that has been lost for the sake of the election, because the election is important to the country. And we continue to urge the security agencies to put an end to these attacks. And we are appealing to the conscience and the feelings of those who are sponsoring these attacks to stop them as a country, we should not be wasteful at all. Money is spent to build all these structures. Money is spent to provide these materials. And of course, when they are attacked and they are destroyed, money will have to be found to replace them. The country is passing through a lot, and money is needed in other sectors of the economy. So the the materials we have should not be destroyed in any way. Imagine this year alone, 8 incidents in 5 states. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. I think we need to move away from this. But the good thing is that all stakeholders involved are on the same page on this. As I told you earlier, we were in the House of Representatives where we attended a public hearing. And of course, the Commission is grateful to the House of Representatives for showing a lot of concern. Of course, the police, the Inspector General of Police also, they are trying their best. We are happy that they were able to repel the persons who came to attack our state office in Owerri, and they prevented the entire building from being razed down. The building, I believe, will be operational, and things will be okay.
Now, you are the Director of Voter Education, and there's no doubt at all that one of your responsibilities would be to provide enlightenment campaigns now to encourage voters now to come out on election day to vote. But if we continue to have an escalation in these attacks, are you, as a Director of Voter Education now, are you not worried that might scare away voters on election day? Because voters might just be scared that there will be violence.
Of course, violence does not do anyone any good. If violence continues, definitely we'll be worried that voters will be scared. But I believe that the whole issue of attacks will stop, and Nigerians will be as committed as we are as a commission to the 2023 general election. The important thing is that all our activities, all our preparations are geared towards providing a platform for voters to exercise their franchise on election day. Everything we are doing, all our training, all our recruitment of personnel, all our logistics, provision of materials, all our planning, all the funds we are expending is geared towards making it possible for voters to be able to visit their polling units on election day and vote for the leaders of their choice. Anything that will not allow this to happen is something we can consider as a threat to our country, as a threat to our democracy. I believe the security agencies will stop all this, and all voters will be able to vote freely on election day.
Okay, let's talk about your preparedness. Let's quickly talk about your preparedness now. I mean, if you were to rate it on a scale of 100%, just how prepared would you say your commission is for the coming election?
Well, we are preparing as a commission should do. This is not our first general election.
Yes.
We've been conducting elections over the years. But the important thing is at a time like this, just about 2 months and about 1 week, that's about 9 weeks to the general election. We are preparing materials, providing, all the non-sensitive materials, sensitive materials. We are trying our best to source our officials. We have to get about 1.4 million ad hoc officials that will help us to conduct the election. So we have to source officials. We have to, of course, train our staff who will train these officials. So we are preparing as we should. We are doing a lot of maintenance for our facilities. We are planning our logistics, try to do a lot about the logistics we need, the transportation we need, reaching agreements with various transport unions. And of course, as you also mentioned, we are also doing our best to educate voters, especially now that the voting procedure has changed. Okay.
I just want you to shed light on the voting procedure that you say has changed. What exactly has changed? Could you shed light on this so that the voter out there can really understand what is going to be different in this next election?
I said the voting procedure has changed. In 2019, we were using smart card readers to accredit people. and the smart card reader was checking the fingerprints of voters. And when the fingerprints could not be verified, we gave them incident forms. This time around, there will not be anything like that. This time around, we're going to use what we call bimodal voter accreditation system. That is, we have changed from smart card reader to BVAS equipment now. The bimodal voter accreditation system, which is popularly called BVAS. We'll be using BVAS system, to accredit voters at the polling units. That is, if you come to the polling unit, you bring your PVC to the polling unit, and we will ask you to put your finger on the system. Before the system will check your fingerprint. If your fingerprint is verified, you are accredited, you can vote. If your fingerprint is not verified, we will use the BVAS equipment to check your facial photograph. And if both cannot be verified, that means that PVC is not your own. That means you are not the voter that is listed on register. We will politely tell you to leave. But if either is verified, that is either your fingerprint or your face, then you proceed to vote. That means you are accredited. So that's why I'm saying that the voting procedure is now different from 2019. Now we're using the bimodal system, which means we'll be accrediting either your fingerprint or your facial photograph. And of course, we also will be transmitting the result from the polling unit. That is, for MISI 80, we'll be taking a shot, a picture of for MISI 80, and we're transmitting it to Inec'S result viewing portal. So that's the second leg of it. That is two things now. We will be using BVAS to accredit voters. Then, after we have gotten the result at the polling unit, after the presiding officer has finished with the result at the polling unit, he will take a picture of that result and transmit it to the Inec'S result viewing portal. All these are geared towards ensuring that we have one man, one vote, and also to make sure that there's no manipulation of our results at all. So that at the Ward Collation Center, that's the registration area, now it is actually the results from the polling units that are collated. With that, we believe we'll have a clean election. We have a very fair election. And of course, our intention is to be fair to all candidates, to all political parties.
This BVAS system that you've talked about is very crucial, no doubt at all, in the entire election process. Very, very important, just as you have said. But is the system, the machine itself, is it failure-proof, so to speak, that it cannot break down? So what happens in a situation where it breaks down now? Do you have any contingency plan in place?
Yes, we are going to put the BVAS equipment in all polling units. You know, we have 176,846 polling units in the country. So we are going to put BVAS equipment in each polling unit. But we're also prepared in every ward, in every local government, that we are prepared for contingency measures. That is, we have some contingency, we have some units that are by the side, so that if there's any breakdown at all, we'll be able to quickly move into action, replace them, and there won't be any problem at all.
If you can hear me, sir, what happens if that breakdown happens in a very, very remote location now that is quite remote and far from the local government headquarters or what have you? So what happens? How are you able to get another BVAS machine to those locations?
What I'm telling you, there are 8,809 wards in the country. And we also have 774 local government areas. For each local government area, we have extra units. We have extra units. And that's what I call contingency. We have a contingency arrangement. It's like we are buying 176,846 BVAS. We are going to buy extra. We are going to buy extra units. Each local government will have its own contingency units in case there's anyone we need to replace at the spur of the moment. And as I said, all cannot break down at once. It's not possible. But we know that there's no electronic equipment that cannot malfunction. So let's take a place like Ikeja, Lagos now. That's a local government. We have BVAS for all the units in Ikeja. We also have extra by the side in case there's anyone we need to replace. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
that we have contingency arrangement
I understand.
for every local government in the country.
I understand you, sir. I understand you, sir. The question I'm asking is, where, for instance, are you going to keep these spare beavers? So let's take just as you said, let's take, say, one of the local government areas, Ikeja, as you have said. But supposing, and then you have the beavers machine at the local government headquarters at maybe around Alausa area, and then you have an incident of the beavers machine in one polling unit, say around Onigbongbo area, far away. And we're using Lagos as an example because Lagos is actually an urban center. But in rural areas, you know how difficult it can be. Some of these polling units are very far away from the local government headquarters. So are you saying that these extra beavers will be kept at the wards of every at the wards of every ward in this country?
We have 8,809 wards.
Wards, yes.
And we have persons we call registration area technical assistants. That is, we train technicians for each local government that will be moving within the wards. They'll be attached to each ward. Now they are well trained. If there's any problem in their own wards, if they are called by any of the presiding officers, they will be able to respond immediately. That's why I'm telling you that every part of the country is under a ward, no matter how remote that place is.
Yes.
Every part of the country is under a ward. And we have contingency arrangement in such a way that our technical assistants in all these places will be able to respond as fast as possible.
Okay.
That's what I said. And you know, the election will open at 8:30 a.m. on election day. And of course, within the period, we have technical assistants that will be moving up and down. Their job is to assist in case there's any technical problem. So we will train technical assistants who knows a lot about the beavers equipment. They'll be moving up and down, you know, ready to spring into action at short notice.
I understand you now. Finally, is there any challenge that INEC is currently facing at the moment?
Well, the challenge is the challenge of security. We're just praying that everything should be okay, because security is very important to all our activities. The voters need security. Our officials need security. Our materials need to be secured. So our main challenge is the challenge of security.
I can just imagine. And conducting elections across this country is not an easy task at all, especially when it comes to security. Mr. Ayo Aluko, Director of Voter Education at INEC, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you for your time, sir. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us, don't go away.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.